Hello everybody, I'm your Chief of Wrestling, Craig Anderson, and you're listening to Dirt Sheet Mania, episode 19. Hello everyone, welcome to Dirt Sheet Mania episode 19. Kieran and myself are here. We're a little sleepy because we got back rather late last night from the Royal Albert Hall watching WWE's NXT UK division now. That's a long-winded name. Was it NXT UK or just WWE's NXT?
As people will find out, well, hello everyone, by the way.
Yeah, hello. Hi Kieran, you're right.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. But as everyone will find out next week when the tapings are shown on the network, it's NXT UK, NXT UK,
NXT.
That's how it goes.
That's the chant.
That is the chant from now on.
NXT UK, NXT.
And there's a
UK.
particular chant in there as well for people that are listening that are gonna love next week. It's such a UK chant.
I was aware how much Zach Gibson. I think there was a majority of fans last night were certainly Progress fans.
Yeah,
it was a bit London area, and the heat for Zach Gibson was nuclear.
Yeah,
I think is the right word you're looking for. But watch the match. It's next Tuesday it will lay on the network.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's 1 a.m. our time or...
I think it's 8 p.m. GMT. BST,
Ooh.
Actually. Sorry, British summertime.
Oh, not GMT.
We are in summertime.
That's not Greenwich Mean Time. No. So, BSM. Chris. So we...
We'll just let you know that right now that Christian... Oh, no, sorry. We're also watching the World Cup.
It's Portugal versus Morocco.
Yeah, Ronaldo just had a free kick and we're all looking and thinking, oh, he's going to score another one. And then he hit the ball.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's 1-0 to Portugal, which when you listen to this, it'll be like 4 days later. So... Yeah. Anyway, so we're not going to try to play the football.
No.
It was an amazing evening for us. Yeah. If you want to hear more about that the evening and the 2 days in general, me and Kieran will sum that up in our Royal Ramble this week. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be on our YouTube as well. A nice review of that. In fact, you know what? What I'm going to do is, I was going to talk about this in the Ramble as well, but I think we should go right off the bat because it's pretty surprising. Big Cass has been released.
Yep.
From WWE.
It has.
Now,
it has.
Now, he has been released, and on the WWE website or the WWE statements, they normally say WWE has come to terms with real name, aka Big Cass. WWE
His name was like William something. Wasn't it?
Very royal almost.
Doesn't look like a William.
He doesn't. Has released Big Cass, and that was it. Normally it says WWE's released Big Cass. WWE wishes Big Cass all his best in his future endeavours. Which is like we're sorry about we're having to release you. We've got nothing for you, or we don't want to keep you on. But we're grateful of your commitment and your time you've given to WWE, and maybe then one day we'll see you soon. There was none of that. And he's just been released. What on earth has happened?
Yeah, it was a bit shocking. We found out while we were actually watching the UK Championship tournament. Which I think it started, like, other people started talking about it as well at that point. Obviously checking their phones during the show.
Yep.
It was a bit. I weren't expecting it. Obviously, there's been heat on him from a couple of weeks ago where he went off script to one of the local competitors.
It was the
midget.
The midget, yeah.
Sorry,
he was dressed up as Daniel.
Little person.
Whatever.
Like you.
Thank you. He was dressed as Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And we are led to believe that Big Cass took it a little too far with the midget and did more to him than he needed to do to get his point across and to what Mr. McMahon, Triple H, whatever Road Dogg had asked him to do. Obviously, you go against the script at your own peril. If you say something you're not supposed to do, something you're not supposed to do, to take something too far, you're going up against the boss.
Yeah, I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn done it a few months ago, didn't they? Which they had a bit of heat for, but they sort of come back from that. But I think Cass is
very different stages of careers.
Of course. I think also Big Cass he's a big supporter of Donald Trump, and obviously that's to say, look, we all know Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are old friends. And
at the end of the day, Donald Trump is Vince's wife's boss.
Yeah.
So,
but according to we'd assume in some sort of environment where they're close up in the locker room, they're going to be close together. Mm-hmm. That politics is probably one of those things that probably people don't talk about, but because it's an everyday thing in society, people will talk politics. I'm sure you talk politics at work if there's something like the government have introduced that you don't like and things like that. Mm-hmm. But in a locker room like that, when someone's a big proponent for Donald Trump and who's quite a controversial figure in the world of politics at the moment, obviously it is going to rub people up the wrong way, and maybe they saw that as a detriment to the locker room. So I think it's all kind of mixture of things of why he got released. I think he'll be back.
Really?
I think he'll be back at some point. I think there's money in Big Cass.
Really?
I think
Kieran, you surprised me.
There's something there that needs to be. There's something there. He can cut a promo, right? He can cut a promo.
He can now.
Yeah, he's good at that. And obviously Enzo rubbed off him in terms of that. He's obviously learned stuff from that. I don't think he was a singles wrestler, but I at some point I think maybe he could become a singles wrestler. When you're 7 foot tall, you've got that going for you, and I think sometimes that you can always fall back on that as if you're 7 foot tall or quite a tall big wrestler. Maybe he just needs to have a bit of time on the indies. Maybe just needs to hone his craft, like Drew McIntyre. Come back a couple of years down the line.
It's not the maybe he will come back, but it's the fact that it's just no future endeavours. He's gone. It's just it's a little sudden. He had a pay-per-view match on Sunday. If there was something that they were clearly unhappy about, the WWE, they would have just got rid of him straight away. Yeah. They would have reworked the match. They would have reworked Bryan. They would have just said, sorry, Big Cass isn't there anymore.
It's the same as like Ellsworth. I mean, Ellsworth's just come back, but when he got released, it was sort of a bit out of the blue, wasn't it?
It was. He just had that match with Becky Lynch, which was quite huge in the grand scheme of things at the time, before the Mixed Match Challenge happened.
Yeah.
But Ellsworth was released with future endeavours.
Yeah.
It was nice. Yeah. Ellsworth wasn't bitter about it. I would love, and I don't know if we will, but maybe someone like Jericho or maybe Stone Cold will have Big Cass on their podcast. And if they do, I will certainly, for one, be listening.
It was quite interesting as well. I don't know if you saw that Enzo tweeted out. So I think it was yesterday. And I think he meant it was like a year ago that he had that promo when Big Cass was unveiled as Enzo's attacker.
Okay.
And he tweeted, as the kids say, some shade. And about this whole thing. So obviously he's heard about it. He's probably bitter or saying about Big Cass is done or something like that. But look, these two could come back as a tag team in a couple of years.
Well, they could be a tag team on the independents if they really wanted to. But anyway, he's gone. Cass is out. And SmackDown was pretty good anyway, but we're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to start with Raw. Raw kicked off crisp opening of a can, Kieran. Very nice.
Try doing it silently. It never happened.
It started off pretty rapid. Kurt Angle in the ring. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase to one side, and he had the WWE Raw Women's Championship on the other side of this huge table. He announced Alexa Bliss, who cashed in her Money in the Bank contract at Money in the Bank, pinning Nia Jax, but at the same time costing almost. It looked like Nia was going to tap to Ronda. So Ronda was, albeit in one way or another, screwed by Alexa Bliss. And
why did they need the briefcase out there?
Yeah, I don't really know. Obviously,
there's been 15 odd Money in the Bank briefcases cashed in. Surely people know how that works.
Yeah,
I can understand it if it was like the first or second time.
To me, it was two reasons. One, it was symbolic, and two, from what we later found out about 2 minutes into this promo, it was something for Ronda to beat the crap out of people with.
Obviously, yeah.
So it was more of a prop as opposed to
Yeah, but it's just don't.
Yeah, I don't even know why they need the table personally.
Ronda doesn't need a weapon; her hands are weapons.
No, they needed the table so that Ronda could put Bliss through, and they needed the briefcase so Ronda could beat Kurt with it. Yeah. Then gave him a judo toss. She beat the crap out of Kurt. She beat up some refs, didn't she? I think as well. Yep. Pushed some refs over. Something we actually saw someone push some refs over, which was Johnny Gargano in NXT the Wednesday before their takeover match with Ciampa. So we're seeing that kind of. I'm not gonna call it attitude era stuff because it's not. It's a slightly new, different shade. People will compare it.
50 Shades of Attitude, eh?
Well, there you go. People was going to compare it, but it's a newer, slightly 12A, slightly 14 thingy. But hey, who knows? It's different, and it's shocking because we've not seen it for probably 8-9 years. Seeing a lady, not just a bloke, but seeing a lady push over referees was shocking and pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Ronda's been suspended for 30 days. from this, which keeps her off TV, which is good.
Keeps off Extreme Rules.
Keeps her off Extreme Rules. It gives Nia and Alexa to have a match at Extreme Rules without Ronda being involved as such.
Mm-hmm.
And then it leaves you open for Ronda at SummerSlam.
To probably face the winner.
Which, Ronda being in one of the big matches.
Mm-hmm.
We almost thought that at Money in the Bank that this could have been main event. The way it was going through the night was saying, could Nia Ronda be main event? I mean, I think it could have done.
And with the way it finished, I think that could have really gone on last.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this whole Ronda beatdown thing, even sort of taking down Kurt, it just goes to show that you don't mess with this woman. And I think for the aura and the mystique of Ronda Rousey, this was perfect. And I think you can complain about booking of a lot of WWE superstars, but they get it right. I'm going to say most of the time with their big superstars. Braun Strowman, for instance.
Not with Roman.
Not with Roman, but
AJ, they got it right.
Yeah,
very right.
But Braun, yeah. Since the brand extension started, Braun's been superb. This whole thing with Ronda's been amazing as well. People weren't expecting her to be sort of this good, and she showed on Sunday that in that match that she can sell. Selling was ridiculously good. If you would have thought Nia was there to make Ronda look good. Ronda made Nia look good.
Yeah, I mean Nia. When she got called up from NXT, there was a big discussion about Nia, is that she probably wasn't ready, but she is so different, aka she's not like most girls, so she can blend into any story and add a massive diversity to it. Because it's a bigger girl, you can probably do more things, different, strength moves that you probably couldn't do normally with the other females. Ronda has had 2 televised matches, okay? 2 televised matches. She's had a load of house shows, and she's been at the PC a bunch since she signed. She is better than Nia. In my opinion, she's crisper. Her timing is good.
Yeah, I think it's if you compare it to that, I think sometimes it's hard to compare. It's hard to compare Daniel Bryan versus the Big Show.
No, fair enough.
Right,
because Big Show's not a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Big
fair.
Show's not going to be rolling around the ring. In terms of Big Show's moveset, you compare that to Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman's head over shoulders compared to Big Show.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But you can't. I don't think you can compare 2 different styles like that. And
no, that's fair enough.
But I know what you're saying. In terms of like you say, like the
she's picked it up quick. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm trying to get to. She's picked it up quick. Speaking of picking up things quick, we have a new Intercontinental Champion.
It's a bit out of the blue, this one.
Just a little. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph.
He's now the number 1 champion on Raw.
Right.
After we thought Elias wouldn't win. Why I thought Elias wouldn't win on Sunday,
and he didn't. And Dolph Ziggler is now your Intercontinental Champion.
No, does this... I mean, obviously, Seth will have a rematch with Dolph at some point.
Next week? Maybe Extreme Rules?
But as we'll talk about later with the multi-man number 1 contenders match at Extreme Rules, does Seth Rollins get pushed into that?
Oh, I hope so.
But it would be interesting to see where this goes. But I still think... I think Seth reclaims it in some sort of way. Because I just think Seth as Intercontinental Champion is like the right fit. Have it as the workhorse title...
for all intents and purposes, it's the TV title.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't mind Seth dropping it. I don't want to say every now and then. I think it was too soon for him to drop it now. But if you said in 4 months' time that he dropped it to Dolph, then a month later he picked it back up, and then he went another 4 months, dropped it, and then picked it back up. I think in terms of the Intercontinental title, that had been perfect. I just think since he won it at WrestleMania... what's it been now? 3 months. It's about 2.5 in it, but
2.5.
Dropping it now, it doesn't seem like when you look at it was only 2.5 month title reign. It doesn't look like it was a successful.
His first one as well.
Yeah. So
his first one.
I just think it needed to be a bit longer.
So the fact that Dolph is in the Intercontinental Champion now, does that mean he's gonna vacate next week?
Well, you assume so.
You notice this title, Intercontinental title. They're held at the same level and the same prestige in the world of WWE. It's different. Dolph he's almost a different character now than he was back then. Obviously, he's with Drew. If they continue down this storyline, I don't know how long Ambrose is away for. Maybe Dean comes back and helps Seth. But like you said, I quite like the idea more of Seth going towards this multi-man match to determine the number 1 contender for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Because Dolph and Drew have been seen as a tag team the last couple of...
Every time...
come back... since they...
on Raw after WrestleMania. Yeah. And every time they're on television, we are told by Cole, by by Booker or whoever's on commentary, Coach Corey, that these two are a tag team. They're not two singles wrestlers anymore. They're a tag team. Weird. They look like a tag. Their gear doesn't match. Their finish is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
The Claymore kick.
Maybe it is a way to reintroduce Dean Ambrose, and then ultimately you get Dean Ambrose turning on Seth. Potentially.
We think, but we'll see. So yeah, new Intercontinental Champion. See how that one goes down the line. As we just briefly spoke about there, Kurt Angle with the with the, I think the word we're looking for is persuasion by Constable Corbin. You shaking your head at that, Kieran? Don't like Constable Corbin.
Constable Corbin.
Careful how you say Constable
Corbin.
Careful.
Equals corporate Kane.
Oh, he's shaved his head. He's kind of the same thing, isn't he? Corbin even wrestles now in that gear.
Baron Corbin will become mayor of a city in America.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
I don't know.
It's just, what it is.
I'm glad he shaved his head. I'm glad they're looking to give something to Baron Corbin. I just don't see how this fits right now. Now, I'm going to sit. Obviously, we always say sit there, hold reserve judgment until it's played through and everything, like see where it's going. But right now, I don't like it.
This isn't. I think this is one of those things they've gone. Stephanie's not on Raw. We need Kurt to bounce off someone. We need a foil for him. Absolutely need a foil for him. What can we do?
Why not Paul Heyman? Why not?
It's someone that they can put straight back into the main roster. There's someone that's already they basically picked someone, in my opinion.
Why not Kevin Owens?
Oh, that'd been great.
Because I know he's had the whole thing with Shane and Daniel Bryan, but the potential of a Kevin Owens versus Kurt Angle match
down
at
the line,
SummerSlam,
even further, it's our Survivor Series.
People are going to cream their pants over that one. You know?
Also as well, Stephanie and Kevin Owens have history.
Yeah.
So for Stephanie, and she re-signed Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So picking one of them would have made more sense.
You've got Jinder. Why not Jinder?
I think logically speaking, I think they've done it to elevate somebody. I know we're talking about someone that was a Money in the Bank, former United States champion, but they've obviously decided
Andre the Giant with more about Raw winner.
Right, exactly. So he's done a few things on the main roster, considering he didn't win anything in NXT. So he's done quite well, really, if you think about it. But they've clearly decided to elevate him into a position of literally authority. So anyway, he prompted Kurt to go to the ring. Kurt announces that there will be a multi-person match for Extreme Rules, and that winner will be going on to SummerSlam to face Brock Lesnar. Now we know that Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns will be in that match. They had a little war of words, if you like, on Raw. The Revival decided to come out, and I don't really know why. It's like, the Revival.
Can we just send the Revival back down to NXT?
Oh, please. And the Iconic Duo, but we'll talk about them later.
Yeah.
There's a few of those people on the main roster now, which it's not good. But like I say, Revival shouldn't, so two-time NXT, the only team that are two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. Top guys. Great matches. They're putting on 4, 5, 6-star matches on NXT. 10 out of 10s. Takeovers. They were killing takeovers. And now they're just a jobber team on Raw. What is it? It's not good.
No comment. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean, you always go through peaks and troughs of in your time in WWE. Obviously, you can't always be at the top level unless you are John Cena. But it just doesn't look good. And the thing is as well, and I'm not saying that they don't care about the tag division on Raw, because obviously they've been pushing the B team and things like that. But maybe they can just give a bit more focus. Maybe Revival were the ones that needed to be traded to SmackDown.
Well, the thing is,
we say it every year. We say it with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn needed to go to SmackDown. He went to SmackDown. He didn't happen to him on SmackDown.
But it did. He had a good WrestleMania, man. He had a very good storyline.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I think what we wanted Sami to do is actually win a title. Yeah. That's what we wanted Sami to do. But I completely see your point. Another match that did sort of come out from this fallout was Kevin Owens decided to try and befriend the new monster in the bank, if we may, Braun Strowman, saying, it's just me and you, we're all alone, we need help, I need help, you need help, we can take everyone down together, and then when you win the title, I can face you for the Universal title, and You know, he tried to make it all rosy and all sweet, just like Kevin Owens does, and then he nearly got beat up again. He got out of it, but he got out of it. But anyway, a match was made as Constable Corbin was backstage, having a war of words with Finn Balor and Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Corbin versus Braun and Finn. Owens, again, where does he go for Money in the Bank? There's so many people that, they can win Money in the Bank, they can win Money in the Bank. And because they've been invested for such a, it was like 7-week build to Money in the Bank, 6-week build. Now there's so many people at loose ends.
Yeah.
Where does Kevin Owens go now?
Yeah.
You know, this is the bad thing about a long booking.
I think this is, they seem to get away with it on SmackDown a bit more. In terms of the talent that they have, they seem to fit them in some sort of way on SmackDown. Like Bryan's faced Big Cass, they've had Samoa Joe sort of, get in the money. They always they seem to find a way on SmackDown to get everyone involved.
And that's not because of a time. Well, that is slightly because of a time constraint because you have to fit everyone else in. But they still managed to pull it off.
Yeah. On Raw, they don't seem to manage to do that, and they've got the extra hour. I mean, what? Can't they just make a feud of... Look, we've seen Finn versus Kevin Owens especially in NXT. Have we seen it as a main roster feud? I don't think we have, but they've had matches together and things like that. Just get them two together, face off in a feud. People will sit there and enjoy that. Have Dolph versus Seth will be one now. It just give them something to do. And even if the feud doesn't necessarily make the main card on the pay-per-view, have it still on Raw. You can't just... The old formula of building a feud up to a pay-per-view, result at pay-per-view, then straight again, Raw, build it all back up to another match, another pay-per-view. Just don't do that. Just let them have a feud. If it lasts a year, it lasts a year. If it lasts 2 weeks, it lasts 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just give them something to do. Let them have a little bit of interaction with each other. Even if it's just to say, well, tonight, Kevin, you're having a match with Finn, because it's going to be great TV and we just want you to put on the best match possible. There you go. It doesn't mean anything. And then, Finn beats Kevin with a roll-up. Next week, Kevin's not happy. Kevin wants to beat Finn again, and then there's another TV
You've
match.
Already started.
Make a best-of-7 series. There you go. Anything like that. I think this is just... I don't say it's quite simple. But
what you've just done now is you've just made... You start organically. Yeah. Kurt wants good television and better matches than SmackDown. He picks 2 of his top guys, Finn Balor, not doing anything, versus Kevin Owens. Again, floating around the surface, sort of interacting with people, but again, not really doing anything. Great, you two have a match. Say if Kevin cheats, even the other way around. Kevin Owens cheats. Finn goes to Kurt next week. Hey, look, Owens cheated last time. I'm not having him do that against me. I want him again. This time, he's not going to do that. This time, maybe... Finn does it to Kevin Owens, one-upsmanship, because anything you can do, I can do as well. Finn go next week, Owens goes to Kurt. Hey, he did that, I'm not having that again. Okay, you two, you want to settle this? 2 out of 3 falls match at the pay-per-view. Then we'll prove who the best is.
Yeah.
Great. You've got 2 out of 3 falls match at a pay-per-view.
Kevin's going to want to prove he's the best anyway, and Finn's trying to get himself back up. It could be for anyone, really, to be honest, so...
But anyway, so we had that tag match. Again, 4 guys. We're waiting for Braun to get his hands on Brock now. So it's a waiting game. The second Brock appears, Braun is after him.
I like the idea of this actually happening in terms of Brock Lesnar's appeared to turn to show up on Raw. Braun's in the ring. Braun just comes out and he cashes it in straight away.
Yeah.
And he wins on Raw.
Really?
In Brock Lesnar's first Raw match for 16 years.
Wow.
And then
on a cash-in as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And then either Brock can go do his UFC thing, or have his rematch or SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. Cool. No, I like that. We move on. Sasha Banks and Bayley, part 3042. They argued, they tagged, they argued again, and then they beat the crap out of each other. I actually think we've come to the end of this feud. Argumentative issues. What do you want to call it, Kieran? I think we're done. I think we're going to go into a match at Extreme Rules between the 2 of them now.
Yes.
No.
No. Because I still think that the SummerSlam's the build that they want up, but they can still technically. Okay, so none of them are still technically heel yet, right?
They're just 2 people that don't like each other now.
They're just falling out. But could at Extreme Rules, could they have a match with each other? And for example, have Sasha just beat down on Bayley and keep beating down on her, not stopping. Like,
she snaps.
Snaps. Gets
disqualified,
out,
maybe.
Yeah, gets the chair out, just hits her loads of time. But then you've firmly established Sasha as a heel. And then you've got Bayley as the true babyface that she is. Then you've got another big heel on Raw for the women. And it's because Sasha's not really done much.
Since Charlotte, maybe.
Since Charlotte, yeah. Well, I can't think of anything else really since then.
And Charlotte's been on SmackDown a long time.
And maybe she needs that fresh approach.
I've always said it.
We said Becky needs it on SmackDown.
Oh, Becky needs to turn heel.
Yeah.
Becky was a heel in NXT, and she was okay, and then she had that great match, and then she became a face. And fair enough, she's run with that. She's been a face for a very long time now. But I think as a slightly fresh approach, maybe she can be, she won on SmackDown. We'll get to that later. But I think as a heel turn for Becky would be great.
But Becky did get quite good, probably the biggest cheers of the night in the women's ladder match, I'd say.
Yeah, no, this is it.
I don't know whether that's because in Chicago there's quite a bit of a big Irish
contingent. So absolutely. Nevertheless, for me, when you look at Sasha and Bayley, okay, maybe it'd be nice to have Bayley as a heel, slightly different change of pace, new approach. But for me, when you look at Sasha, she does her absolute best work as a heel.
Yeah,
she's a great babyface. She is a great baby. Let's not get that wrong, but she is an even more brilliant heel, because I think there's no one better in the women's division as a heel than Sasha Banks.
Yeah, to me, the character Sasha is a heel anyway. If you're going to turn Bayley heel, if you turn Sasha heel, not much is needed in terms of like character change. Still wear the same ring gear and everything like that. If Bayley turns heel,
it's a complete change.
You have to change so much.
Entrance music.
The music's like
her gear. It's too colourful.
Yeah. There's a lot that you have to change. She's probably even going to have to change her hairstyle because she does that like quite.
I'd have it down.
Yeah,
all her hair like down.
You'd have to change quite a lot. So if they are planning a Bayley heel turn, they must be in that process right now of planning what to do.
So the second they do it, the second they do it, maybe that's why this has been such a long process. Maybe they're sorting out the music.
Maybe Bayley's coming out with a mask or something.
Maybe they've got someone from NXT's going to come up and join as a bodyguard or something. Maybe this could make some sense. Bayley will become a heel, have a new gear which is being made, have a new music which is being made, have a new Tron which is being made. Everything is being put in process. Everything is put in place. So the second they flip the switch and go, right, it's time. We're doing it now. Bayley, you're turning heel on Sasha Sunday. Great. She does it. Monday, bang. New gear, new hair. Everything's done. And it's like you almost have a completely different person. Well, you do have a completely different person. So possibly.
And Bayley needs that. But
like Becky.
But I think if they do it, they need to make sure it's right. Because I still truly believe that in terms of Bayley, that she's got the kids love her. She's so much. She is like the biggest baby face. I don't like the idea of turning her heel in terms of that, but I think if you're gonna turn a big baby face heel, you have to do it right. Yeah, I'm not saying that Bayley turning heel is at the level of Hogan turning heel, but
it's not, is it?
But that's what Hogan was always, a face.
Until they didn't like him anymore.
The character of Bayley is always going to be a face, baby face. So if they're going to turn her heel, it has to be big. It has to be impactful.
Every other woman, including Alexa Bliss, who was this pretty little fairy when she was all on her own before she turned heel with the Buddy Murphy and
the other one,
Yash, her husband.
Yeah. What's her name? What's his name? What's the other? Buddy Murphy and.
You tell me.
Jesus Christ, Wesley Blake.
Wesley Blake. Yes. What are they called?
It's Blake and Murphy.
It's Blake and Murphy. That was it. No, it's Blake and Murphy. Yeah. But even she's been a heel and a face. You know what I mean? Even she's been a babyface before she joined them. So everyone has done it except Bayley. Every single woman has been a babyface and heel. Yeah. So I think it's her time. The only other notable thing that happened on Raw was you had the Broken Universe of Matt, or the Eater of was it the Eater of
the Deleter of Worlds?
Sorry, the Deleter of Worlds. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt facing Slater and Rhino, and just as they're about to start this match, up on the Tron, Bo Dallas, who's Bray Wyatt's real life brother, and Curtis Axel were dressed up as Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt and basically mocked them in a similar type of promo. It was quite funny, and at the same time, I can see this being another Ultimate Deletion match. Because it kind of works.
I agree with you, and I'd love to see what they do, because I think the Ultimate Deletion match is quite a quirky, funny sort of thing in some ways. Obviously, they can make it serious, obviously, but I think it can be a funny thing. And it's not necessarily, they necessarily might not need to do a Ultimate Deletion match, but they could just literally go to the compound. They end up trying to find, obviously, Matt Hardy, and they end up just throwing him in the lake of reincarnation for the sake of it. Then you just get a little vignette or something of Curtis Axel turning up to be Michael McGillicuddy, or him as dressed up as Hogan, or
Axel Mania,
or Bo Dallas becoming IRS, or just something stupid, something funny, because that's what the B team are. They're not a serious team.
They're not your average team.
Because I think the Ultimate Deletion, or the Final Deletion, that match should only be saved for important things. Like this whole Woken Matt thing against Bray Wyatt was important enough to establish. Like
the one in TNA, it was him and versus Jeff, and then him and Jeff versus,
It shouldn't be used as just a throwaway thing. That's why I like the idea of them potentially just turning up and just getting accidentally falling into the lake.
I like the idea of them just showing up and trying to find Matt and Bray, or even Matt and can't find him. And like you say, they just fall into they're like, what the hell is this? This is the lake of, I bet this doesn't work. And then he falls and he falls back. Curtis gets out and he's got a Nexus armband on. Yeah. And he's like, hey, what's wrong, man? And he goes, and he's just like putting his fist in the air and going, where's Wade Barrett?
Yeah, David Otunga's there, just like, so, hey, we got a match, hurry up.
Yeah, we got a tag title match.
I'm afraid I've got some bad. No, it won't happen.
That'd be great. So that's Raw. Not much, really, in the grand scheme of things. Not a lot happened.
The big thing was the Ronda thing, I think.
It was ginormous. That was amazing.
Obviously, Intercontinental, a title change in hands is always a big thing as well. That was shocking, but the big things were big, and the rest of it was just...
that's fair enough. So, that was Monday Night Raw. We have now got our review of Smackdown Live. Banana bum bum, banana banana bum bum, banana vroom. Hi and welcome back here to Dutchy Mania, the chief of wrestling here. Kieran, Smackdown Live. They had a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender to AJ Styles' WWE title at Extreme Rules. Nakamura has moved on to Jeff Hardy. They had a little promo segment with each other this past Tuesday night. Jeff Hardy tapping into his Willow character, which looked quite cool. Though, if you've not seen Willow or heard of Willow, they did that when they were kids, and he even did the gimmick for a short time in TNA. Not that successful, but if they're just doing it with the face paint and sort of like the contact lenses, it can be quite cool, I think. Not to overdo it.
Yeah.
So, but it's different.
It's different. I quite enjoyed it, and
got a huge pop.
Oh yeah, I think Jeff Hardy's Jeff Hardy. I
hope so.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy's overall, you'd say Jeff Hardy's better than Matt in terms of what he's done in his career, and probably even as a singles wrestler. Yeah, but that's
not anymore.
But maybe
they're quite even now. I think.
Maybe they're trying to just change it up a bit, so he's not generic Jeff Hardy. From 2009,
generic Hardy boy. Matt's got a really cool persona now, and Jeff kind of is tapping in a little bit to that kind of not quite stable sort of thing. But also, if you've not checked out the 24 thing on the network,
that's fantastic.
What an honest and great watch.
But maybe this is something in the future where next year in a brand split, in a draft, they get drafted on the same show, and this is when they start tapping into Brother Nero.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both 40 odd years old now. Matt's definitely 40.
Yeah, was the big, and Jeff is 40.
So there's not long left for them in terms of an active career.
See, I think because Matt's style has never been as high risk as Jeff's. Matt probably does have a slightly longer career.
With Woken Matt as well, he doesn't necessarily have to do any of that high flying stuff.
I think in the future I'd love to see a general manager, Broken Hardy. That'd be so brilliant.
But
anyway,
yeah, but I think maybe they can tap into this with Jeff at some point down the line.
So Jeff and Nakamura look like they're going to face each other at Extreme Rules, and that's building from last week. Yeah. So that's, like we spoke about, an organic beginning for a storyline and for a feud.
It makes sense. I don't think this would be a good little, like, Jeff versus Shinsuke. Mm-hmm. Great little matchup. I think,
very different styles.
Very different styles. Mannerisms of Jeff Hardy against the mannerisms of Shinsuke Nakamura.
It could be great.
Shinsuke just probably going to look at Jeff like he's a weirdo.
Yeah. Vice versa, probably.
And Jeff look at him probably mocking Shinsuke for the things he does.
Yeah, man.
I think it's not something I've sat there and thought, oh, I'd love to see this, but after just seeing this bit with this promo with Jeff Hardy, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I quite like the idea of this.
You never think, if you did like 4 or 5 years ago, when Jeff was in TNA, having some more problems, not doing too well, and Nakamura in Japan before he got to NXT, and you said, what's a dream match you could think of? I think maybe, without really realising it, without really thinking about it too much, Jeff Hardy, Nakamura, that'd be amazing.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a dream match, but I think it's
from very different backgrounds. I think that's probably what I'm trying to get at.
Like dream matches for me, they are like dream, like you would say
Stone Cold CM Punk.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels. That's a dream match.
Oh, fair enough.
Think like Sting versus Undertaker is a dream match, right? That is a dream match, but like Jeff versus Shinsuke is not. They're not.
It's a unique match. Okay. Yeah. No, I tell you,
like the level under dream. So
semi-conscious,
a daydream.
Is it daydream match? I love that.
No one likes a daydream.
So, as we said, that AJ Styles needs a new number 1 contender, and Big E, Rusev, Miz, Daniel Bryan, and Samoa Joe faced each other in a gauntlet match. Now, we had a very successful gauntlet on Raw a few months ago.
And we had a women's one the other week as well.
We did.
They seem to just gone, we had a great successful gauntlet match at the beginning of the year. Let's carry on doing gauntlet.
Was that on New Year's Day?
I think
that was when he went over an hour, Seth Rollins. But hey,
obviously they could have gone over an hour on SmackDown, but then literally it would have ended. It would have just been the whole show, and then we not got fit anything else.
Yeah.
But
can you imagine one match filling the entirety of SmackDown?
One day they might do that, man.
I think they're brave enough. In this day, I think they could do that.
A 30-man gauntlet match this Boxing Day on SmackDown Live.
SmackDown Live Boxing Day. Just echoes and boxes. Big E started this match off with Daniel Bryan. As Daniel Bryan was going to the ring, he passed the Bludgeon Brothers, who were leaving.
Dun, 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 dun.
It was a Wyatt family flashback.
It was.
Because they were, all 3 of these gentlemen were members of the Wyatt family at one point for 2 weeks when Bryan had his moment of disbelief. And it was like, ooh, okay, they haven't really seen these 3 together for a long time. Because obviously the Bludgeon, but even when Bryan was general manager, the Bludgeon Brothers were off telly. They were both injured, so we've not even just seen them on the same show really that much. Keep your eye on those 2 because they're going to come back a little later. Bryan versus Big E, again, pretty cool match. Not really thought I'd ever see this again. They put on a good match, and Daniel Bryan picked up the W. He advanced in the gauntlet. He then faced Samoa Joe. You think, okay, Bryan just wrestled 10 minutes maybe against Big E. Joe's strong enough to go and beat him here, and they finished this little. I quite don't know if you like this, but I really enjoyed the way that they did the count out victory for Bryan here.
Yeah,
very different, similar to what we saw. Not to give too much away, but if you were NXT to UK second night, Shayna Baszler versus Toni Storm, similar. The way they did.
Yeah, and I think this protects Samoa Joe, but obviously we'll get onto the winner in a second, but. I think there's a bigger feud at SummerSlam with Samoa Joe, and I think Joe versus AJ at SummerSlam for the WWE title is the match.
Will they ever pull the trigger on Joe and put him over?
I think they will after this. I think it's just because they still have one more pay-per-view to go before SummerSlam. I think they want the first match of their rivalry to be at SummerSlam, to be fresh. Mm-hmm. I know it's not fresh in terms of what they've seen in TNA, but you got to remember a lot of WWE fans don't watch TNA unless they're going back to watch the plug of the Global Wrestling Network,
which was at the end of the Hardys.
So they might go back, but they might even be. I don't know. Could they use footage from that? In a little promo? You never know. But yeah, I think Joe's in a very difficult position at the moment, and him losing his gauntlet match is obviously a big thing, but I think the way he lost it necessarily...
Joe, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Joe. I don't think it really matters so much, because I think after Extreme Rules, we will get Joe versus AJ.
Would be great.
Yeah.
Would be great. Like you said, protect him a bit. Count out's not the same as a pin or tapping.
No.
So they kept it fresh. Daniel Bryan then got jumped. He got jumped by the Bludgeon Brothers, who proceeded to almost like double powerbomb the boy. And then almost classic Miz slides out to the ring. Skull-crushing finale. 1, 2, 3. Miz has eliminated Daniel Bryan.
So, two things about this. I like the way Miz is getting this. Just a quick victory over Daniel Bryan. Keeps a potential feud down the line going. Keeps it fresh in your memory, sort of thing. Because it will happen. I like the idea that they're delaying it. Because Bryan's trying to establish himself back together. He's trying to get back to the Daniel Bryan of old. Trying to change his style. So he has to go through these matches, and maybe his first big feud blow-off match is against the Miz, and maybe that is maybe SummerSlam. SummerSlam might be a little too early in this, but you can't really say Survivor Series because
it's a long way.
Survivor Series is the only time of year that Raw and SmackDown go head to head.
They've not said that yet. If they say that this shit, I will cry.
So it could go on, but 2. How does the Bludgeon Brothers versus Daniel Bryan work?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Surely Daniel Bryan will have to look for a tag team partner. Who could that tag team partner be?
We joked to say it could be Shane.
Here comes the money.
Money talk, money.
Or Brie Bella. Or John Cena sucks. SummerSlam.
The Bella Boys.
Brian and Cena. The Bludgeon Brothers.
But the Bella
tag team titles.
The BB, the Bella Boys versus the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yes, the Bella Boys.
The
Bella Boys.
The Bella Boys. That's so much better. The Bella Boys versus the Bludgeon Brothers.
And if John Cena wins, if John Cena loses, he has to keep the vasectomy.
So he has to win not only the tag titles,
he has to win the right to get his penis unsnipped.
Unsnipped. And
yes.
his
Vince Russo, where are you?
Oh my god.
Get it booked.
Oh my god, you could vasectomy on a pole match.
Vasectomy on a pole match.
Bludgeon Brothers versus
live on the network after WWE SummerSlam. John Cena's vasectomy.
It's only a matter of time before they
watch in VR.
Oh my god. It's only a matter of time before they stream a surgery. There's so many of them now.
Yeah. Fucking hell. I think I broke my tailbone. Well, this is my tailbone here. They cut here.
I got my vasectomy done the other week. Well, this is a reverse of vasectomy. You just reattach this perm. Ah! Imagine you've got a VR headset.
Rated PG.
Oh Jesus, we should not be allowed with live mics. Bryan got beat by Miz.
Yeah.
Miz faced the last member of the Gauntlet match, which was Rusev. Now, I think you and me and the rest of the fans in the universe, all that good stuff, could be forgiven for thinking that, okay, they're going to give us Miz versus AJ. That's going to be pretty cool.
Miz being the heel more so than Rusev?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, Rusev is on paper a heel, but the Rusev Day, the gimmick, you can flip him and go backwards and forwards anytime you wish. Yeah. And any opponent to opponent, it changes. But I tell you what, they pulled the trigger. Rusev is your number one contender and will face AJ Styles for the WWE title at Extreme Rules.
So we talked about Samoa Joe facing AJ at SummerSlam, and we said because it's like there's a pay-per-view in between that they not say want to get out of the way, but it's there.
Smoothly transition.
Yeah. Rusev is perfect for this. Keep Rusev happy. Keep him pushing. Like it's a little mini push into the WWE title picture. Look, he'll probably lose. If he wins, it'll be ridiculously out of left field.
Could you imagine if Rusev wins the WWE title? That's what they want us to try and believe, but it's not going to happen.
But this is, I don't say a throwaway, but get him on the card, get him in a title match. It's not going to go last on the show. Probably. Well, it should really, actually, if it's Extreme Rules, because there's no Universal title. But they can position this in the middle of the card.
If Roman wins that number 1 contendership, that'll go unloved.
Yeah. Make Rusev look credible, and then if you make him look credible and make him look like he's taking AJ to the limit, then you've got another big baby face there, even to fall back on, and then you can have Rusev versus Samoa Joe. You can have Rusev versus Big E in a singles feud. You can have Rusev versus Shinsuke in a proper big feud. I know they've obviously had matches before, but there's so many potential avenues they can go down.
Clever booking.
Rusev versus maybe Rusev is a stepping stone for Andrade Almas, like on the way up for him to come up. You know, there's loads of ways you can go with this. I like this. I like the fact that they've gone, yeah, let's give it Rusev. Let's give him a chance. Let's see what he does.
Let's throw the fans off the scent.
Yeah, they know the fans are going to be behind him.
Yes.
You know, you'll probably see AJ and Rusev team up in tag team action for the next 4 weeks.
God's sake.
That's
Jesus.
You can't have two baby faces going against each other.
Lana will probably accompany AJ to the ring at some point as well.
Yeah. AJ probably sleeps with her. And then it's a Lana on a pole match, and you know,
on a forklift match.
Yeah,
is that Buff Bagwell's mum?
Yeah,
that's brilliant. WCW, load of rubbish. Okay, so we have a number 1 contender. Something that we also now need is the rematch between Carmella and Asuka, which I assume must be coming, probably at Extreme Rules as well. Carmella in the ring, and out comes Asuka. It's not Asuka, it's James Ellsworth. He's back full time. How surprised were you to see James Ellsworth come back at Extreme Rules?
I heard rumours of this before, so I wasn't surprised as much. I was surprised when when the Asuka character was on the ring apron. I was like, well, that's Ellsworth. we sat there. I think you sat there and said, "Oh, could it be anyone else?" I was like, "Craig, no, those hands are man
Well,
hands."
I couldn't, even though you've got HD.
But you're right, because that could have thrown us off the scent. They may have just purposely leaked the fact that Ellsworth was going to be there,
and then just don't do Ellsworth.
And they could have just leaked someone coming back.
Tamina Snuka.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Or, you know, Nikki Bella, or, you know,
Brie Bella.
Yeah. So it could have been, you know, that could have happened, but obviously it was Ellsworth. I like the fact he's back. I think it works with Carmella.
I remember you saying at the time, they went, why did they get rid of him just to do this? And I turned around to you and said, for that moment right there, for that pop. Carmella has now got 2 straight wins over Charlotte and Asuka. That's pretty big. When we start thinking about our predictions and who could win, who could lose matches, I'm now sitting there thinking, I think I'm going to go with Carmella, because they clearly are behind her and she's putting on better matches. You know, and I tell you what, here's a one. Who thought out of Enzo, Big Cass and Carmella would have the most successful singles career out of the 3 of them?
Yeah.
Madness.
She was the one to get called up last.
And she's still here, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. She's clearly got her head down. Maybe she split up with Big Cass because she didn't like his attitude, maybe.
Well, wasn't Carmella meant to be sleeping with John Cena at some point?
Oh, allegedly in between Cena.
This push has come out of nowhere.
You can't see this push. So, yes. Internet. Yeah, yeah, very good. Internet filled with rumours and lies. Carmella and Asuka, looks like, Asuka then came out and whooped James Ellsworth, and it looks like this match is going to happen. Rematch.
Carmella got the better of Asuka after she was distracted by Ellsworth.
Do you think Asuka could win now?
I think they need. I don't like Asuka losing. It's just the aura and the mystique of her's gone now.
The fact that she's been pinned by Carmella, I don't want to badmouth or say that shouldn't have happened, but it shouldn't have happened. Yeah. It was very easy. It was like a side kick to the head, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, for months you've built up this monster, this undisputed dominance through NXT, through the main roster, and I know everyone has to be beaten at some point. I'm fine with that. But Charlotte got her to tap, and Carmella is the first person to pin her.
Yeah.
That will be in the record books forever. Yeah. Carmella, the first person to ever pin Asuka. Ever in WWE. That's mad. You know?
I would have I don't know how you would have done it, but maybe instead of Asuka getting pinned, maybe Ellsworth could have just attacked Asuka I know it's a bit man on woman violence, but maybe if it's a case of
or tripped her up or something.
Yeah, just tripped her up. Yeah, something like that, something simple as that. And then she still wouldn't have lost that lost by a pinfall.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too
violent. It was
violent.
just a disqualification.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
do you think we see an Asuka versus James Ellsworth match?
I do actually.
Yeah,
I do, because if they're happy to do Becky, I absolutely think that could be between now and Extreme Rules. I absolutely think we could probably.
Well, considering they let Ronda do hit Kurt Angle,
she didn't just hit him. She threw him. She punched him.
Yeah. So maybe you can see this on the other side as well, that Asuka gets to beat up James Ellsworth.
Oh, I can see that 100%. 100%. We move on. We did briefly very much talk about the tag titles. Bludgeon Brothers were in the ring before the Gauntlet match. They faced the Good Brothers, Kyle Anderson and Luke Gallows, a rematch from the pre-show this past Sunday. The Good Brothers lost again. The match, in my opinion, was slightly better than the one they had on Sunday. I never once, unfortunately, and I guess when you go into a match, a titled match, for me, you have to believe that both people or both teams can win.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at no point did I actually think that the Good Brothers could actually win this match.
Maybe the Good Brothers join Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan joins the club.
Oh.
And then when he leaves on September 1st, he joins the Real Bullet Club.
If Daniel Bryan joins the Real Bullet Club, internet can basically explode itself into oblivion. It'll be incredible.
That's what's going to happen, isn't it?
He's going to go to All In and win the NWA title.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We talk crap, don't we?
We do. We talk crap, but it's feasible.
His contract runs out on the day of All In.
Yeah.
So he probably can't wrestle on that day. It's a shame it's not the day after. The only other thing, there's two more things I want to talk about. One, we did talk about Becky Lynch earlier when we were talking about Raw, about Bayley. Becky Lynch against Billie Kay. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They've not done much since being called up from just being there. Was one of them injured?
I think Peyton was injured for a bit before she got called up, because they weren't on NXT for a bit.
No.
Now, obviously, what you're going to say is that they haven't done much, and I agree with you. But you think of what they were like on NXT.
Oh, just the best.
They weren't winning matches every week.
No,
on NXT.
they weren't. But
they were involved in the occasional women's title match, but it was always in a fatal four-way or a triple threat. Or
they never won.
Yeah, and they never had a singles title match. So that's what they are. They are, for lack of a better word, mid-card talent in that women's division. Now, I think Peyton Royce has got the ability to go up, become a big singles women's superstar, and become a women's champion. I do see that. But I think right now, keeping them as a sort of tag team, as a the mean girl sort of thing. Keep them around for a bit, let them get comfortable in the main roster, and then pull the pin and see where they go.
Yeah, let's hope they get used at some capacity. I mean, Becky Lynch won, but like we said earlier, I do think maybe Becky Hill wouldn't be the worst thing.
No, but if we can get Becky, but see, Becky's been on SmackDown quite a bit, having singles matches lately. So
she's been since the brand split and the debut of the SmackDown Women's title. She has been an ever-present member.
Yeah, but she's had right at this moment in the last month, she's having matches, just normal singles matches on SmackDown.
She beat Charlotte before Money in the Bank,
and if she can just build wins up, build wins, and then you're going to build her character up, build Becky Lynch up, and then you turn Becky Lynch against, I don't know, Asuka down the line, or Becky versus Charlotte, which is probably more likely.
Yeah. I think so. The only other talking point, I would like to finally congratulate Sanity on their main roster debut. They beat down the Usos. It was scheduled to be a match, but by the time they got to the ring, in the Sanity entrance in the ring, the Usos jumped them. Hugely backfired for the Usos as Sanity then did the kicking in. I think I said to this earlier, what I would have preferred is that they say the Usos will be they'll be in action next, Oh look, two local blokes are in the ring, that's going to have a tag match. Usos come out to the ring, do all their shtick, and then from behind, Sanity beat down, bang, 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 beat the hell out of them. And then there you go, straight away, they're standing tall. They've just jumped. 2-time NXT SmackDown tag times, 3-time overall thing maybe.
5-time tag times.
5-time now.
4-time.
So there you go. Maybe they could have done that as an element of surprise instead of announcing them.
Yeah.
I would have liked that better.
No one really talked about Sanity since they call up, so maybe I would have forgotten about it. And if they suddenly Sanity just attacked them, I would have gone, oh yeah, I forgot Sanity were around.
They're on Smackdown, yeah. You know? Like by reminding us and telling us they're coming up next. Okay, it's like, finally. Yeah. But I think they missed a little boat.
I did say to you, this might go a little off topic, but could Kieran Dane been in that UK Championship tournament?
Well, we obviously Jack Gallagher from 205 Live, Noam Dar from 205 Live. He is involved. Let's not get too much into that. He's involved.
I was about to say a spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. He's involved. So anyone that is English is absolutely, obviously
Scottish, from Northern Irish, or even Irish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even German. Or even Portuguese.
Some South American. Yeah. South Australian.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Or New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Travis Banks, yeah. So as long as they're from one of the Commonwealth countries, as we spoke about. Punch in the microphone.
Sorry.
Naughty boy. Yes, but our point is that Kieran Dane wouldn't surprise me if on one of those tapings he appeared. I think there could be some cross-branding there. I think if you sprinkled, and maybe in a more of a roundabout way, if you did sprinkle a few of the more established UK guys, like Noam Dar, like Jack Gallagher, Mark. You said a name I didn't think you'd say. Finn Balor.
Ooh. If Ticker ain't going, I'll just call that Finn. So we're talking about Sanity.
We are talking about Sanity. Let's try to talk about Sanity. They got a good beat down on the Usos for 5-time tag champs, and it's nice to see Sanity, and I can see Nikki Cross joining them in due time.
Yeah,
and them being quite a dominant force on SmackDown. It's slow, it took their time, but I can see it going a long way. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks for that.
Sweet. No, I do. I give it time, establish them, because the thing is, you got to remember, we watch NXT because we are WWE fans. We like wrestling and we watch as much as we can when we can. To the average person that will just tune into SmackDown here and there and everything, so they have to re-establish these people that come up from NXT.
The new company,
yeah, like they're separate enough. Obviously, they're WWE, but the company is separate. Obviously NXT is just ridiculously good, and what they do on NXT is ridiculously good, and the talent they have on there is ridiculously good. But then you have to re-establish them to the main audience of 3 million people watching in America, because out of that 3 million, probably I'd say 500,000 watch NXT. Maybe not even that.
So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, guys. This has been Dirt Sheet Mania's review of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown for this past week. If you want to, which I hope you do, me and Kieran will now be off to talk about the United Kingdom tournament, day 2 of the NXT UK show. NXT UK. It's tiring after a while, that chant. We're going to talk about that in a Raw Ramble. So head on over to our YouTube page, or even to stick around here on iTunes, and you'll be able to listen. But Kieran, for this show for the moment, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome.
Dilly.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate your time and effort listening to us. Check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. All that good stuff. Like, follow, and share. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Come on, England!